everyone that I've come in contact in the world of public broadcasting, whether it is public broadcasting on television or public broadcasting on National Public Radio, KUAR, KUAF, wherever it might be, we're doing something worthwhile, and don't ever forget it, and that's what it's all about. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Senator Pryor. When the board met in Little Rock, Senator Pryor invited all the managers of the public radio stations and director of AETN to come to the board meeting and make a presentation. And we did stuff like this, had some slides actually of our new building. And board members were very interested in how things were going in Northwest Arkansas and Western Arkansas and how we were coming with the new building. That was the last spring? I think it was. Last May, I think I went down for that. Anyway, many thanks to David and his comments about Diane Blair. She was president of the board of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and she made, you're right, I mean, she made a huge impact on that board and on public radio and public television in general. And I'm so happy that we have another Arkansan out there, you know, banging heads together when need be. Just a couple more comments here, a very important announcement, and then I know you're getting thirsty, and so back to the water. No beer, we couldn't get beer. The new facility that you see that is being constructed across the street will allow KUAF to grow and become an even more important part of our community. There's one aspect of this building that's made possible by a generous gift from Hershey and Denise Garner and their family. They're in the room. There's Hershey and Denise right over by the window. A large performance studio is being built, which will allow us to produce live music and talk programs, thanks to their generous contribution. Earlier this week, PJ had Robert Mueller on the air. And Bob is the director of the U of A Symphony, and they were talking about the spring concert that's coming up next week. Well, thanks to the Garners, our new building will have a performance studio, and next year Bob will bring some students with him, and they can play one of the pieces that they will present in their concert. Those students will do something I'm sure they've never done before, and that's perform live on the radio. Lots of live performances on KUAF beginning next year from the Furman Garner Performance Studio, named for Hershey and Denise's parents. And Mr. and Mrs. Furman are here today. We're very happy to have the Furmans here. It's got a nice ring to it, the Furman Garner Performance Studio. PJ Rabowski will be announcing that name on a regular basis, as we'll have a lot of live performances in that studio.
I'm not going to filibuster, but I forgot.
I recognize the gentleman
from wherever I'm from. But I forgot to mention something that Rick did. He brought to Fayetteville, Arkansas for about, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, unheard of. He brought one of the 3 StoryCorps trailers to Dixon Street. And it stayed here, and we recorded several hundred life stories in the StoryCorps Airstream trailers. We have 3 of the StoryCorps trailers going around the country, recording 40-minute episodes of people's lives. And now we're about to acquire the 4th Airstream trailer, and they're booked about a year or a year and a half in advance. People are going in, telling their life stories for 40 minutes, and then a copy is sent to the National Archives. I think we've done around 600,000 of these interviews so far in those wonderful little trailers. And then the party that gives the interview also keeps a copy. But the StoryCorps trailer, one of the first out of the box, was brought to Fayetteville, Arkansas by this guy right here.
And Senator Pryor did the first interview with Roy Reed, and Roy, retired journalism faculty and one of my colleagues and retired New York Times reporter, interviewed David, and then the next interview, David turned around and interviewed Don Tyson. And there were some stories told. As I said, PJ will be using the Furman Garner Performance Studio quite often. Our jazz producer, Robert Ginsberg, will have live jazz sometimes. Our folk producer, Mike Shirkey, will bring people in to that studio for live performances. They try to do that now. They do it during our fundraisers sometimes. And when Mike has people in, sometimes there's as many as 4 or 5, and we have to clear out the break room for those guys to set up. We have to unplug the refrigerator because it hums. It's true, right? You guys will back me up on that. Not true. The news department will make regular use of the performance studio. Kyle will be able to produce live mayoral debates if he wants. He can have live round table discussions. If we want to, we can even produce old-time radio theater. It's such a great opportunity for us. And we thank the Garners so much for their generous contribution to this building. Thank you, guys. Other features, real quickly now, other features of the new building are studios for our new HD radio stations. You've heard us talk about HD. You've seen a slide up here that promotes HD. I know it's not in every car yet, but the car manufacturers, if they continue to sell cars, are beginning to put HD radios in the car. Next fall, Ford and several others will have HD radios in them. And at KUAF, our HD channels will have, you know, the 2 primary reasons people listen to KUAF is for news and for classical music. And when the news is on, people who love classical music call and complain and say, why do you have so much news on? And when there's classical music on, people who love news and talk call and say, why do you have so much classical music? Okay, we got HD radio. HD2 is all classical all the time, and HD3 is all news talk. And there's some terrific news talk shows that NPR produces that KUAF-FM is not able to bring because we are committed to this dual format of important news and classical music. But those shows like Talk of the Nation and Diane Rehm and Day to Day and some others are currently being broadcast on HD3. And if you don't have an HD radio, which maybe one person in the room does, it is online at KUAF.com and you can listen to it there. Other things that the new building will bring us, we'll have a large meeting space, we'll have room for community events, we'll be able to host things like this in our station. We're so excited about it, and I want to thank everyone who's helped us over the years. As Senator Pryor suggested, the annual contributions that all of you have made to KUAF have gotten us to this point. And to everyone who's contributed to our capital campaign for this new building, several of you are in the room, I know. For those of you who are interested and have not yet had the opportunity to make a contribution to the capital campaign, as you walk past the door on the way out, there are folders on a table that they don't have your name on them, but, well, they do if you light a match and it'll appear. Anyway, there's names for everyone in the room. Just grab one of those folders. There are some drawings of the building, the layout of the building, some of which have been you've been looking at up here, and naming opportunities and various other bits of information that you can use to make your contribution to KUAF for our capital campaign. So thanks to Senator Pryor, to Jim Blair, to the entire committee, and to all of you who continue to support public radio in West and Northwest Arkansas. We thank you so much for your past support. Look forward to continuing to provide great music and great news and information programming, and with your help, we'll always be there. More wine, more food. We don't want to take any home, so please help us eat it and drink it. Thank you all so much.